From the beginning, Bree was a shining star. It was hard to find her without a smile on her face, even as a recruit. She sacrificed her own life so that others may live. And that's what makes Bree special. That's what makes police officers special.
Officer Brian Lee and her family will always be remembered in our prayers. Sector 231, Patrolman Lee is now 1042 for the last time. May she rest in peace.
Gone but never forgotten. Right now, a tribute to a fallen IMPD officer is shining brightly on the side of one of the city's biggest landmarks, Lucas Oil Stadium. This memorial comes after friends, family, and the community honored the life and legacy of Officer Bree Leith at her funeral service today. Over the last week since she was killed in the line of duty, we have shared with you several stories about Officer Leith's compassion and kindness. And tonight, RTV6's Cameron Riddle introduces you to an Indianapolis mother who says Officer Leith's spirit arrived in their home at just the right time.
It could have been a holiday Shannon Lee and her family wanted to forget, with no presents under the tree. But thanks to 3 IMPD officers, one of them, Breanne Leith, Christmas 2018 is now unforgettable. And Lee and her kids have this picture to help them remember.
My daughter was like, my daughter who just turned 6 yesterday was 4 at the time. Yeah, she was 4 at the time, and she was like, yeah, Mommy, I remember because she was holding my sister, and I was sitting next to you, and the other officer took a picture, and he was a man. I was like, dang, you remember that?
Lee's family first met Officer Marco Zaragoza during a welfare check. When he arrived, he determined the house was clean, the children were fine, and that there was no need for police. But before leaving, he did notice one issue. There were no presents under the Christmas tree.
This was like the beginning of December, and he came out, and he had came and brought my girls a couple Christmas presents.
Lee and her family felt more than grateful. But 2 days before Christmas, Officer Zaragoza came back again, this time with reinforcements.
He came back 2 days before Christmas, and when he came back, he had Officer Breanne Leith with him.
Breanne Leith, accompanied by Officer Zaragoza and Officer Christian Canellis, brought even more presents. Lee says she remembers sitting next to Officer Leith, thinking how down-to-earth she was.
My daughter, when we took the picture, she looked at him and my daughter and was like, can I pick you up? And my baby was like, yeah. And then she just grabbed her and just put her on her hip, and she was sitting there talking to her for a little minute, and then we sat down and took a picture.
Lee says before the officers left, Officer Leith handed her a Christmas card with $40 inside. Lee says after that interaction, she knew that some officers have hearts of gold. She hopes Officer Leith's family knows that too.
Your daughter was an amazing person. She had a great spirit, great heart. I'm so sorry for your loss.
In Indianapolis, Cameron Riddle, RTV6.
Well, today's funeral at Indianapolis Motor Speedway was not open to the public due to social distancing guidelines, but city leaders and colleagues were still able to honor Officer Leith alongside the community.
Last Thursday, our community's heart was broken.
It was in this moment that she chose a life of service and sacrifice for the sake of others.
The stories of Bree's selfless service have poured in from the east side.
And if there is one theme that has been echoed through every description I have heard of Bree, it is love.
Let her beautiful smile be a guiding light in the darkest of times, and never let her sacrifice be forgotten.
Her smile, beauty, and happy demeanor lit up the room, and she always looked so at ease and peace with the world. But inside, she hid from other people's views how hard she had to work as a single mom to balance a full-time job on middle shift while raising a son.
April 9th of 2020 may have been your end of watch over the city, but you'll forever be watching over your family and closest friends.
A donation fund is set up to assist Officer Leith's family with funeral and burial arrangements and to provide a trust for her young son. The Central Indiana Police Foundation is handling this fundraiser. You can find a link on our website, theindychannel.com. IMPD is asking people to be careful when making donations. The department is aware of funds that have been established without the consent of Leith's family.
Now to the Storm Team 6 forecast. Chief Meteorologist Kevin Gregory joins us now. Kevin, some people will see snow pretty soon.
It'll be there when you wake up. Now, on a night like this, Amanda, every time I wake up, I check radar. Where's the snow? Where's the heaviest snow? It's not unusual to see some snow in April. It is unusual to see this much snow this late in April. There'll be spots tonight and tomorrow that see over 3 inches of snow. I'll define that in a second. A widespread ½ inch of rain elsewhere. We can all look forward to temperatures climbing as we go to the weekend. 1 to 2 inches Lafayette, and then anywhere from 2 to 4, I would say from Fowler to Logansport to Peru. Areas north of that may see a little more. I'll get even more detailed on that in a little bit. There's the snow, sits over in Illinois. Where the rain transitions to snow, that will be the point where the heaviest snow falls, just north of that. 4 a.m. ongoing snow, Lafayette, Kokomo to Tipton and Muncie. That drifts to the north first thing in the morning, and that's where I think you wake up, Lafayette, Kokomo, Marion north, to pockets of heavier wet snow. It will melt rather quickly because temperatures should be at or above freezing. We'll have details of a big warm-up coming up.
Well, now to the latest on the COVID-19 pandemic and the toll the virus is taking on Hoosier lives. The State Department of Health is reporting 477 deaths at this hour. More than 9,500 people have tested positive. More than 51,000 people have been tested for the virus.
Social distancing efforts since they've began. We've been sharing with you messages from domestic abuse advocates about the dangerous situation some Hoosiers might be facing. There are resources available, but in some cases, picking up the phone to call for help is not an option. RTV6's Cornelius Hawker shows you an alternative that anyone can take advantage of.
Our survivors are losing the opportunities that they had because they used to be able to go to work and go to school and take their kids to school.
Jamie Schnurple from the Julian Center on how the coronavirus pandemic has cut off those surviving domestic violence from their usual ways to get help.
So you're having people call in for help in the closet or maybe while they're doing laundry, and it gets a little bit difficult to assess what's going on and be able to provide services in that way when you're trying to whisper.
You might have noticed on social media, people aware of what could be happening to their friends and family posting reminders of ways they can get help without specifically saying they're being hurt, as to not tip off the abuser.
We have seen people who are becoming a little bit more creative in terms of how they can request assistance.
We're not being specific about what those posts are saying to keep survivors safe, but another option to discreetly ask for help is to text 911.
If you need help and you don't want to be heard asking for help, calling for help, text to 911 is available all over Indiana. It has been statewide since June of 2016.
Indiana State Treasurer Kelly Mitchell, who's also the chair of the statewide 911 board, says text to 911 has been used countless times since its rollout. And while we're all dealing with the COVID-19 outbreak, no one should worry about getting help when they need it.
And I want them to hear loud and clear, you can text 911 in Indiana when you need help.
People like Jamie hope more attention will be given to the problem of domestic violence so people feel safe in their homes if we ever experience something like this pandemic again.
We have to continue this conversation well after COVID so that we can put these things in place and we have them and we rely on them and we use them on a random Tuesday, right? Rather than have to wait until we have to use them.
Working for you, Cornelius Hawker, RTV6.
Well, the Julian Center is still serving those in need. We have their contact information in this story on our website and at the RTV6 app.
Through the pandemic and every day here at RTV6, we are committed to connecting Hoosiers with job opportunities and resources. RTV6's Nicole Griffin is putting the focus on companies still hiring and needing help right now.
Home Services Unlimited serves about 200 patients in Marion and surrounding counties. The entire goal is to keep these patients in their home and out of the hospital. But right now, due to the coronavirus pandemic, the company says it needs to fill several positions in order to serve more patients. For Mary Riker Hernandez, helping people get better is her passion.
That's what nurses are about, improving people and helping people live the best lives they can.
As a nurse with Home Services Unlimited, she provides care for patients in their homes.
Whether it's them learning how to do things better, to eat better, to take their medications better so they feel better. We also provide services and skills if they're not able to do that themselves.
Any problems with a lot of fatigue or tiredness?
With the coronavirus pandemic underway, HSU is feeling the impact. Some of the employees aren't able to work due to lack of childcare for their kids, or they are in quarantine. That is why they are looking to hire registered nurses and home health aides.
We're starting to get people out of the hospital now. We just got our first COVID positive patient the other day. We don't know how many we will get, but most of our patients have been moved out of the hospital to make room for those COVID patients.
Home Services Unlimited wants to be prepared to take on extra patients when that time comes. Leaders say home health care is a good option for nurses who want to help their community but can't dedicate the time to work in a hospital. Working for you, Nicole Griffin, RTV6.
And right now on the RTV6 app, we have details in this story on all the positions available at Home Services Unlimited and how you can apply. And many other industries are also hiring workers during the pandemic, and that includes drugstores like Walgreens and CVS, big box retailers, supermarkets, and pizza chains. For more info, go to hiringhoosiers.com.
Coming up, a Central Indiana bank is open for business, but here you'll get more for your money than a deposit slip.
These weren't just numbers. These were people.
And a little later, how a Michigan couple is helping make sure the lives lost to COVID-19 are not forgotten. You're watching RTV6 News at 11.
Donation or volunteer today.
This is RTV6 News at 11, working for you.
And today, President Trump issued new national guidance on how to reopen the country and the economy. The three-phase approach is meant to help determine when COVID-19 cases are declining enough to loosen social distancing and restrictions. In a document sent to state leaders, the White House says states should have the ability to quickly set up safe and efficient screening and testing sites. But the president says ultimately the decision to lift stay-at-home orders is up to governors.
Governors will be empowered to tailor an approach that meets the diverse circumstances of their own states. Every state is very different. They're all beautiful. We love them all, but they're very, very different. If they need to remain closed, we will allow them to do that. And if they believe it is time to reopen, we will provide them the freedom and guidance to accomplish that task, and very, very quickly, depending on what they want to do.
Phases 2 and 3 of the plan gradually decrease recommended restrictions. And when asked today about a possible reopening, Indiana Governor Eric Holcomb did not give a specific date, but he did say it could happen as soon as early May. Governor Holcomb is reaching out to leaders in many different industries before making a decision.
I sent out a letter requesting input from a lot of our major associations representing our retailers, our manufacturers, our medical device association, construction industry, tourism, realtors, sports and cultural events, large gatherings.
And Governor Holcomb says he's asking for recommendations and suggestions on modifications or changes those industries and workplaces may make to increase safety. That will help the state as officials prepare to eventually ease restrictions.
RTV6 is showcasing local businesses that are still open and serving you during the COVID-19 pandemic. And while the initiative is called We're Open Indy, our effort extends far beyond the city. RTV6's Brad Brown visited a Pendleton restaurant with an historic setting.
Right in the middle of downtown Pendleton, the bank is open. Not quite bankers' hours, but Tuesday through Saturday for lunch and dinner, and the locals are turning up for takeout.
You know, it's not just customers. We don't have customers, we have new friends. This is a tough industry. It's hard every day, but the fact that the regulars come in And they don't just go to us, they go to some other places as well, and that's great. But the fact that they're still trying to help us means so much to us.
Gary Brammer and his wife Robin have run the Bank restaurant since opening it in 2002. The Bank used to be a bank. Built in 1910, the building itself is a treasure. Over the century since it opened, it's also been a restaurant previously, and now a place for families and familiar friends to gather for some great food and drinks.
Here at the Bank restaurant, it's not just come in, eat, get up and go. The normal customers come in and they'll talk to 2 or 3, 4 booths on their way in, and they'll talk to the other 5, 6 booths on their way out. And that's what's cool. And the fact that they're still trying to help us is tremendous.
But as the bank sits empty, the kitchen stays busy. Orders coming in from Pendleton and the towns around, communities supporting one another again when it's needed so much.
People say, hey, we want you to make it. We want to help you get through this, and they want us to succeed. So that's great too. I mean, they're doing what they can, but at the same time, they can't always eat out. And if you look at the street's empty, but the community is helping out everybody in town.
Gary says he's really missing having his patio open at the Bank restaurant as spring begins. He's also disappointed he won't be able to have high schoolers through during prom season, but they are planning quite the reopening for the regulars once the time comes. And a shout out to a couple of other businesses that are open in Pendleton. Catello's is just a few doors down from the Bank, offering family-style Italian dinners and more. They're open 7 days a week. And Jimmy's Dairy Bar has been open since 1954. The walk-up window and drive-thru are still serving all their old-time ice cream treats, hot dogs, and snacks too near Pendleton Heights High School. Working for you, Brad Brown, RTV6.
Looks great, Brad. Thank you. RTV6 and the Indy Chamber of Commerce have joined forces to protect Indiana businesses. You can find out more about the Chamber's Buy Indy effort and profiles on businesses that are open by going to the indychannel.com/open. Now here's Kevin with your Storm Team 6 forecast. Hey, Kevin.
Hello, Mark. Well, I'm sure a number of folks have said I'm not shoveling anymore this year. And that's still possible, even with 3 or 4 inches of snow forecast to the north, because you can just let it melt. It should take care of itself in fairly short order. 40, that's the current temperature in Peru. These temperatures will fall off into the low to mid 30s north, mid to upper 30s south. That is helping as far as the impact that snow will have. 1 a.m. ongoing rain begins to mix with and change to all snow north. 4 a.m. that rain snow mix from Crawfordsville through Carmel to Anderson, snow north of that. Then as we wake up at 7 a.m., see the transition from green to blue? It's just north of that line that the heaviest snow is likely to fall, and that may be 3 to 4 inches in spots. But in general, I think a 1 to 3 inch snowfall, Lafayette to Kokomo to Marion, and then a quick jump up in some of the snowfall as you go north of there. The rest of central Indiana looking at snow. Notice the darker blues north of Monticello and Peru. This model has shifted the snow a little more to the north, but it varies each model run, so we'll keep it in that 1 to 3 with spots that we'll see a little more than that. Low temperatures at or above freezing. This will create a very slushy mess on roadways. Should melt, though, through the morning hours, and then eventually we're going to change to all rain even to the north. There's your rainfall potential, anywhere from half an inch in some cases to a little more. Turns windy again tomorrow. It's a cold wind, kind of raw, gusting to 30 miles per hour with temperatures pretty much stuck in the 40s most locations. Logansport, Kokomo, the obvious impact of the snow there. Temperatures in central Indiana in the upper 40s, and we'll still climb into the low 50s to the south. The good news is, as we move toward the weekend, temperatures begin to warm up, and we've got a mostly sunny Saturday on the way, and temperatures early next week back into the 60s. I'm looking forward to that. 66 Tuesday, still in the mid 60s, but with a chance for showers Wednesday and Thursday. Don't be surprised when you wake up in the morning, Lafayette, Kokomo, Marion North, and you look out the window. We're talking about the snow now, but it'll still be shocking to see some of that in the morning.
And RTV6 is working together with the United Way of Central Indiana. The COVID-19 Community Economic Relief Fund is an initiative that supports organizations that are serving people and families affected by the pandemic. You can donate to the fund by texting HELP 2020 to 91999.
People across central Indiana are also working together in ways that do not involve money.
Keeping up with that. Thank you.
Oh, today the community helped make 16 extra sweet for twin girls in Shelbyville. Like many people with birthdays during the pandemic, Brooke and Taylor Dennis were not able to mark the milestone with a big party. But this celebration may turn out to be even more memorable. Friends, family, and even strangers drove by their home, honking and waving to wish the girls happy birthday. The teens say they are grateful for this.
We get to see our family on our birthday, which is good, because that's what we normally do. We'll go over to our grandmother's house and have just like a little party, usually. So it's kind of the same thing, except with cars. New normal going on right now. I think it's really cool that people are doing stuff like this and still like saying happy birthday to people and having parties and graduations and stuff.
Well, happy birthday to them both. The Shelbyville Fire Department even joined in on the fun there, sending a fire truck past the family's house to send the teens a special birthday wish there. And of course, we want to know if you are working together. Hoosiers working together during this difficult time. We definitely want to know about it. Share the positive efforts going on in your community by emailing us at workingforyou@rtv6.com.
I'm Dave First with another RTV6 Senior Salute as we honor the graduating spring sport athletes. Tonight we head to Greenwood High School. This is Maya Steele, ready to double down on her varsity letter from a year ago. Worked her way up after starting as a manager on the team, now a leader on the squad she loves. And an excellent student who can't wait to hit a home run with Ivy Tech in the fall, where she plans to study biology. Good luck, Maya. We're honoring outgoing spring sport athletes all spring. If you'd like to get involved, email me at dave.first@WRTV.com. RTV6 is working for you. This is RTV6 News at 11, working for you.
Hundreds of people across Indiana have died from COVID-19. Around the country, there are tens of thousands of deaths from the virus. But sadly, for the most part, we do not know anything about the lives of the victims or even their names. Scripps reporter Chris Stewart shares a new effort that's trying to change that.
He was the kindest person I knew, and not because he was my dad, but just because he was genuinely kind.
Steve Evans, 52 years old, of Castle Rock, Colorado.
He's a dynamic preacher, an awesome musician. He is just a great guy.
Albert Barber, 39 years old, of Detroit, Michigan.
His laughter, his smile, his heart, he had the biggest heart ever.
Ben Hirschman, 24 years old, of Fraser, Michigan.
This shouldn't happen in America. Like, my husband should be with me.
44-year-old Rolando Sonny Araveno, of Orange County, New York.
Big personality. I mean, oh my gosh, so kind, fun to be around, you know, and this is in the hospital that he was like this.
And World War II veteran, 96-year-old Ed Turkin. Just a few names and faces of those who lost their lives to coronavirus.
We found ourselves feeling helpless, angry, and just deeply saddened as we watched the numbers of deaths increase daily.
These weren't just numbers. These were people.
Rebecca Heiss and Dermot Jevons have made it their mission to memorialize coronavirus victims, founding mourningamerica.org.
Everybody's trying to do what they can, and this was something that we could do.
We did not want to see their stories lost. 27-year-old grocery worker in Maryland, her name's Elena Jordan, you know, and she has cerebral palsy, and her story was that she wanted to go and take care of elderly people who were going shopping, and she ended up catching coronavirus and dying.
Every person they can find that didn't survive the virus is a red dot on the website. They hope to gather as many stories as possible to go with the names.
My dad was a great man. There are no buildings named after him. He left behind no fortune, and there are no books that tell his story. He was not great in the way we often try to define the term. He was great in that he was such a good man. Can't even read this. Good to his core, unfailingly good.
The couple is doing this with no motivation other than making sure people have a place to grieve, offer condolences, and remember.
We're hoping that people can find some comfort in that.
Yeah, humans need connection.
And that was Chris Stewart reporting. Anyone can submit the name of a person lost to COVID-19 to the website morningamerica.org. Family and friends can share stories and pictures. The couple behind the site says they are verifying submissions through obituaries and local news outlets. We'll be right back.
Rain in the morning, temperatures above freezing. That's rain in the morning for Indianapolis. As you go north, that becomes snow, and in some cases north of Lafayette, Peru, and Marion a little bit heavier. There are the afternoon temperatures with showers continuing. Dry, sunny, and warmer Saturday. Amanda?
Well, thanks for making RTV6 your choice for news. GMI starts at 4:30. Good night.